You are listening to Central Indiana Sports Central, your daily update on the Pacers, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, the Fever, Ball State, Butler, and, of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Central Indiana sports fans, and welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Central Indiana Sports Central, where we talk about Central Indiana sports every single day, where I talk to people in the know about the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, and, of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. The Fever, Reds, and Cubs all play on Friday, and the Colts play on Saturday. But this one is all about the high school football season getting underway Friday. Normally, we would have a reaction podcast after the Fever Lynx game, but with high school football Friday and a planned Fever report on Saturday, we will not be doing that. The Fever and Lynx play again on Sunday, and most likely we will have a reaction podcast after that one. The Reds are in Phoenix, the Cubs are in LA against the Angels, so both teams are playing late Friday. Coming up, we have Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. He'll preview Warren Central Center Grove, Carmel Fishers, Sheridan Greenwood Christian, plus a look at the top games in Central Indiana. Richie Hall of the Hamilton County Reporter will preview Westfield Homestead, Fishers Carmel, and the rest of Hamilton County. Cade Hamilton of the Muncie Star Press previews a Muncie Central Delta game featuring two programs with new coaches, kind of new. Yorktown and Anderson and the rest of Delaware County. Scott Hunt of the Marion Chronicle previews Marion and Fort Wayne Southside and the rest of Grant County, including his kinda CIC championship prediction. Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin previews Pendleton Heights, Lebanon, and the rest of the Madison County games, including ranked Alexandria, LaPel, and Madison Grant teams. Then Michelle Garman and I were joined by Shane Arnold, the new head coach at Anderson, to preview his team season. Coming up later Friday, we will have our game previews and predictions at 11. You're definitely going to want to tune in for that one. At 3 o'clock, we will have our Game of the Week featuring Frankton head coach Marty Wells and Tipton head coach Aaron Toll together. And Friday night, actually Saturday morning, just after midnight, we will have our football scoreboard show. We expect to have several football reporters and football coaches on with us to talk about Friday night. On Tuesday, we'll have our first football report with highlights and stats from Friday night, the player of the week, team of the week, etc. Then we will do it all again next week. Also on Saturday, Elijah Poe and I will preview the IndyCar race at Milwaukee. And John Robertson will finally unveil his conspiracy theory about the WNBA and the Fever on Saturday's Fever Report. Will Rutherford, Sam Frick, and I will react to the Colts-Bengals preseason game as much as we can stomach watching. Then on Sunday, we'll have an IU report with best case, worst case scenarios with Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel, and Elijah Pose and my reaction to the race at Milwaukee. And we'll likely be joined by Dave Chanley for that one. Please subscribe and get all the great comment we're working so hard to bring you. We start today Central Indiana Sports Central with the Indianapolis Stars, Kyle Neddenriep. I am joined now by the king of high school football media in Central Indiana. That, of course, is Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. Kyle, I'm sure this is the case every week, but a really tough decision deciding where to go, what game to cover on Friday night. Where'd you land?
Well, yeah, it's always tough, especially the first week when you don't know exactly what you're looking at as far as competitive games go. But I'm actually going to be at Center Grove Warren Central. It's over on the east side this year, and should be a good opener.
That would be the one, right? I mean, that's a rematch of an incredible game.
Those are two teams that they've been regional rivals these last several years, just the way the bracket sets up, and I think that's probably the case again this year. Most likely this is the first of two meetings, and I would expect Warren to be probably the team that will be a lot different by the end of the year, just because they've got so many new starters coming into the season. So tomorrow night's game might look different than we would see in, 2 months or more than 2 months.
It's hard to believe anybody's beaten Warren Central 8 straight times.
I know. It's pretty. I went through that last night, and I was like, wow, that's it. Because I've covered some more and big wins over Center Grove, but it's been a while. So they had a stretch there where some of those were pretty lopsided, and it hasn't been as lopsided here lately. Warren's been through. They just have not put together. Last year was a really good year for them. They had that defense that was phenomenal, but the offense struggled at times, including against the better teams. So they just weren't quite able to put it all together. And now they have a new coach and a lot of new players, being in the spotlight type players, to go with some really talented. And those players are good. I'm not sure. Center Grove is going to be more of kind of a fully formed team out of the gate, I would think. I'm excited to see their quarterback, Oscar Sloan, who's a sophomore, who has a lot of offers already, even without even playing much varsity at all. So he's going to be a good player. How quickly he'll be really good, that's the question, I would think. I'm excited for this game. Warren, I think, will be, they're going to honor some of their previous championship teams, so that'll be fun. And unveiling a new facility, they have some new facilities there, so I'm going to try to get in and see some of that before the game. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, just excited. The first night is here.
Also have games like Ben Davis and Cathedral, but I want to talk about the last name Wright because that name is going to be in the news on Friday night, of course. Carmel bringing in Kevin Wright as their new old head coach, and Sheridan playing without a Wright as their head coach for the first time in over 50 years.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? I went out to Sheridan Friday for the scrimmage, and talked to Jake Chesney and their new coach there, and he's not new to the program, but certainly new when you talk about head coach because Bud had done it for 6 decades. It's just unprecedented. Probably will be unprecedented. Yeah. I guess we won't be around to see if Jake Chesney coaches 60 years. I won't be in this position. I can guarantee you that. So I think it's going to be a fun night for Kevin Wright too, just to get back on the sideline in charge of that Carmel program. And John Hebert, I got to know him really well, obviously coaching at Carmel, and I'm, as a human being, really pulling for him to do well at Noblesville. But I think a program, honestly, Carmel probably needed a little bit of a boost. It was kind of a team last year that struggled on offense, and part of that was injuries and things that happen on both sides of the ball. But yeah, I think Kevin's going to, obviously he's got a very high standard, and, I think he'll do well. I don't know, when I talked to him a few weeks ago, he wasn't sure how quickly they could turn the corner. And you find out pretty quickly, though, when you play Fishers and, Westfield right out of the gate. So
no doubt about it.
That'll be interesting. That'll be a fun game tomorrow. It should be a big crowd, I would think, too.
You think Carmel Fishers, that's probably a toss-up?
Yeah, I think so. Carmel, I think they're more talented than people might realize with their record last year. And they added Dane Bathurst, who is a Duke commit, came in from Florida. He's a cousin of Anthony Colner, the quarterback for Carmel. So I think that's going to be a big addition to that team. It's weird because I've been around long enough doing this. It's like Carmel Fishers. You wouldn't think Fishers is the favorite because it just wasn't the case. Even though Fishers out of the gate was really good, they were chasing Carmel. And these teams haven't played in a while. This is a new game on the schedule. Fishers will have to replace John Anthony Hall, which they won't replace him, but see what kind of production they get. But Gage Sturgill, their quarterback, is very, very good. Going to Western Illinois, and he was hurt mid-season last year. He was off to a great start last season. And, of course, having John Anthony at receiver helps that. But he's a really good quarterback who I think is going to have a huge year. With their offense, I'm curious to see what their offense looks like. And I'll probably end up covering them next week, I would think, against Westfield. But I'll be really tracking this game and curious how that one looks.
What other games will the Star have covered on Friday?
Yeah, other than me at Warren Center Grove, we'll be out at Ben Davis Cathedral, the aforementioned Carmel Fishers game, Decatur Central Avon, and then Brownsburg is hosting Archbishop Spalding out of Maryland. So we'll have coverage of those games in person, and then, of course, the big roundup as well with all the area games.
Make sure you check it out, everybody. Thanks so much, Kyle.
Hey, you bet, Greg. Thanks.
I welcome in now from the Hamilton County Reporter, sports editor Richie Hall, who covers Hamilton County high school football for a living. And it's a good time to be doing that, Richie. There is some talent there.
Yeah, that's for sure. This is going to be a very interesting season because we have 3 new coaches, which is very unusual. There's not usually that much turnover here, but we have Kevin Wright coming back to Carmel, and then John Hebert, who coached Carmel for I think it was 11 years. He's going up to Noblesville, and of course the one that everybody's going to be talking about is Sheridan. After 59 years, Bud Wright's retired, right. And now Jake Chesney. He was a Sheridan graduate. He'll be the new head coach.
Bud Wright, after more than half a century of becoming the winningest coach in Indiana high school football history, the first year without him. But let's start with what could be the game of the night, and that is Westfield and Homestead. And Richie, Westfield is clearly the favorite against Homestead.
For the past 2 years, they've been to the state finals, and they've had very, very high winning seasons. And I think this year they'll have another good season. I went to their scrimmage last Friday, and the player to watch will be Deacon King. He's a senior running back this year. He also plays defense too. He's committed to Northern Illinois, a Division I school. There's a couple of other D1 commits. Cade June is going to Sam Houston State. We have Joe Maverick. He's going to Ohio University. And a lot of experience in both offense and defense. A lot of seniors there too. An exception will be Mark Parker. He's a junior. He had 399 yards.
Do we expect the same level of Shamrocks this year as been the last few years?
Yes, they set the standard very high, and with all the talent they have back, there's no reason to think that they won't be in contention for another sectional title, probably maybe a conference title too. I haven't really yet seen what Brownsburg has back, but I'd imagine Westfield will be up there both for the conference and the sectional championship. And if they win that, maybe probably another deep postseason run.
We have some other interesting games in Hamilton County. Noblesville's at Mount Vernon. Fort Wayne Carroll's at Hamilton Southeastern. That should be a really good one. I want to talk about Sheridan here in just a second, Richie. But the other game of interest that I see is Carmel at Fishers. That is an inter-county game, and that one is one that I would consider to be a toss-up.
Carmel is always going to be Carmel, and they do have a decent amount of players coming back. They have the senior quarterback, Anthony Colner. He played last year. I went to one of their summer practices, and they had some familiar names like Caden Bauer on defense. Maxon Treadway will be on offense this year, so there's quite a few names. And I think the attitude for Carmel right now, when I talked to Kevin Wright, is that they just want to get the standard back. When Kevin coached there several years ago, of course, they were state championship contenders. They got to the finals 4 times, won once.
Yep.
And
so they expect way more than 3 wins at Carmel, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely. So I think it sounds like this year they just kind of want to get things back. I think they just want to get back up to the level where they can say that they're competing for those big titles.
Where they're competitive every week, no matter who it is, like they used to be. I forgot to mention that Garin Catholic is at McCutcheon. Also, Sheridan is at Greenwood Christian, and it's a new era, and it's going to be a little weird, Richie.
Yes, it is. First of all, I do want to say Jake Chesney has been an assistant coach for Sheridan for several years, pretty much after he graduated from Trine University.
And you kind of had to do that.
He was one of the associate head coaches last year, along with Kevin Wright. So this isn't going to be like they're just taking some young 20-something off the street and saying, okay, here, try and live up to the legacy of Bud Wright. This is somebody who knows the program pretty well, and I'm sure he'll be putting in his own spin on the offense and the defense. But I think you just kind of have to give him a chance. This is a young guy who's very passionate about Sheridan sports. So it's tough as it is to see Bud Wright go. I think Jake Tuttle deserves a chance to see what he can do as the coach of the Blackhawks.
And Richie, how can everybody read your work after the games on Friday?
You can go to readthereporter.com. We'll have our stories up for the first game, Saturday morning. And then, of course, you can always subscribe at readthereporter.com, and we'll have the edition in your email box in your email every Saturday morning.
Everybody go do it. Thanks so much, Richie. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
I'm joined now by Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press, the sports editor over there, and he will be covering Delaware County football on Friday night. The big one, a couple of programs with some fresh starts and some big names heading the program. Big deal in Delaware County.
Really exciting matchup. Like you said, two new head coaches getting their debuts with the new teams. Billy Lynch at Delta. It's not really a new team for him at all. He's a Delta grad and has been an assistant here the last 4 years. So him kind of stepping into that role was unexpected, but was kind of brought about by Muncie Central hiring Kyle Baresh away from Mississippi, where he won a lot of games, won a lot of championships, and his defensive coordinator had actually accepted the Delta job, Jeremy Lochner. And when Baresh took the Central job, he ended up going back to Mississippi as the head coach. Very weird kind of web that these two teams were tangled up in the offseason. They're playing each other to kick the season off. This is the, I think, 5th year in a row Delta's won each of the last 4 years.
The Central Indiana Sports Report's named after the Central Indiana Conference, so of course we are familiar with Coach Baresh, and that's a program that seems to be waiting for rejuvenation, and he seems like the right guy to do it.
I would have to agree with you there. I think Kyle Padgett definitely had them heading in the right direction, but Coach Baresh is really, coming in here. They have a vision for what they want to be, and he definitely seems like the kind of guy that they're confident can bring the winning ways back into Muncie Central. So they certainly have a good mixture of some, young, talented upside and some good experienced seniors as well that can help him have a really solid first season, I think.
And you will be at that one. Tell everybody how they can read your coverage.
Tweeting throughout the game a little bit, and then I will have a story in the Star Press following the game, and we'll also have Zach Carter out at Monroe Central at Winchester. So we will have a rare occurrence of two game stories appearing in the paper on Friday night.
Also in your coverage area, West Dell is at Alexandria, Blackford at Jay County, Monroe Central at Winchester, as you mentioned. Zach Carter will be at that one. Franklin County's at Newcastle, and Bluffton's at Shenandoah.
I think that Monroe Central at Winchester game is going to be really interesting. That's kind of a rivalry that's very young, despite the close proximity between the two Randolph County schools. They've only really started playing in the last 3-4 years, and it's really gone back and forth. Monroe Central won, and then Winchester won, and then Monroe Central won a really close one last year. That was a couple of weeks before I actually officially started here at the Star Press, so I missed that game. But looking at the final score and the result, it was a 19-16 game. So
Town is at Anderson because the field's not ready. So that's interesting. And Anderson has a new coach and looking to end a long losing streak.
Yeah, Yorktown definitely has been very patient with that field. I know all the kids and the coaches and the whole community really is excited about these new facilities and the renovations that they're doing there, the new turf, all of that going on. But they're certainly having to be patient about it. Not really favorable schedule starting on the road, but Yorktown has really had the upper hand in this matchup for the last 10 years, and especially the last 8. It's been pretty heavy onslaught of points. Yorktown has a really talented new running back, Nate Lazatter, transferred in from Frankton. He has a 3,000 plus career rushing yards, 30-something touchdowns. He's quite a talent. So we'll be interested to see how Yorktown employs him for sure.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Marion Chronicle sports editor Scott Hunt. Scott is going to be covering, surprisingly, the only game in Grant County on Friday night. That is Tim Jones, one of my favorite players in all of high school football, and the Marion Giants against the Fort Wayne Southside Archers. Scott, you're going to get to see a heck of a good player on Friday. The question is, are you going to see a heck of a good team?
That is a good question. From the conversations I've had with Coach Craig Chambers and watching this senior class led by Tim Jones and Logan Barnes and a young man named Jaden Johnson, who's going to be his fourth year starting as running back. There's a good chance that these guys could make some noise this year. What the Giants have playmakers at a lot of positions. Coach Chambers has actually kind of caught me off guard earlier this week. He feels like this is the best offensive line that he's had since he's been at Marion, and he had a team that went to semi-state his first go around. So we'll see. What the Giants don't have is a lot of depth. They're going to have some kids going both ways. He wasn't really thrilled with the way the defense looked against Western at their scrimmage last Friday night, but with the firepower that they do have on offense, and if the line is true to what Coach Chambers says, they'll probably be able to outscore quite a few teams that on their schedule.
And if they're going to have a good season, they're going to have to beat Southside.
Yeah, Southside's a team that's has struggled for many years. They were 2-8 last year. Last time they came to Marion, they were coming off an 0-10 season. In the 23 fall of 23, and they had, and that was a surprisingly good game. Marion was trailing in the fourth quarter, and Tim came to the rescue in the fourth quarter. Last year was just a complete shootout up in Fort Wayne. Marion ended up winning that game 27-21. Yeah. Tim was huge in that game, and a lot of what Marion is going to be able to do this year is going to rely on not just the playmaking of Tim Jones, but the decision making of Tim Jones. It's just a matter of making good decisions and getting the ball to the guys at the right times. Marion should be able to put a lot of points on the board.
All right, Scott, I want a one-word answer to this question. I asked Michelle Garman tonight in our game previews and predictions for week 1, and she would not answer. So I believe there are 5 teams in the CIC that you could make an argument for all 5 to win the conference championship. Alexandria is one of them. The other 4 are all in Grant County. Of course, that's Mississinawa, Eastbrook, Oak Hill, and Madison Grant. Scott, who wins it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to bet against Mississinawa. That's impossible to answer with one word. Last year was the second time in 36 seasons under Coach Adamson that they didn't finish 500 or better. The last time that happened, they were 10-2 the next season. Went on a roll for like 4 seasons. No question, Bodie Howe is a special athlete. He's a special kid. He's a great kid, a great leader. From my experience, when Eastbrook's best teams under Coach Adamson have a strong senior leadership group, and it appears to me that's what he has with this year's group of seniors. I think he has 11 seniors, and Bodie's obviously at the head of that class. He's now a 4-year starter, a kid that's emerging that you're going to probably hear a lot of and see a lot of when you watch Eastbrook is Matthew Slater. He's a fullback and a middle linebacker. He's gonna make a lot of plays for them this year.
No doubt about Madison Grant. You could definitely see that, and I'm hearing some buzz out of Oak Hill as well.
Oak Hill had a great summer. They've got a junior quarterback who's going into his second year as a starter, who came out of nowhere last year. Coach Osmond told me last weekend that he has taken that position by the horns and that he made it his own. He's got 2 guys on the outside, and Beckham Lamb and Drake Pond that can go get it. Another young sophomore that's emerging, and a kid named Jesse Worm, and Dylan Archer, who is the fullback in the offense. He's been their leading rusher a couple of years, and Isaac Mitchner, who's going to, fill in. He's going to get a bunch of carries this year. That's got good speed. Got all conference linemen, and 4/5 of his line is going to be seniors this year.
Scott, as we said, you're covering Southside at Marion. Where can people see your work?
ChronicleTribune.com will be the best place. We've changed our delivery method a bit in the last 6 months or so. We only print 2 editions a week now, Wednesdays and Saturdays. We'll kind of have recaps from Friday night and looking ahead from the previous Friday and looking ahead at the next Friday. Kind of looking ahead at next Friday. That's the big Marion Mississippi game coming up on the 29th. So that's always fun. That'll be a much more competitive game than the last 2 that Mississippi Walls just dominated. I think I would love for people to go check out ChronicleTribune.com. I'm hoping to become a more digitally focused journalist and got a brand new iPhone that I'm using to try to shoot and edit videos and hopefully have highlight package videos along with my game stories up every weekend. We can't wait to hear from you on Friday about all of it. Thanks so much, Scott. Appreciate it. Yep. Take care. I'm joined now by Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin, who is going to be covering Lebanon at Pendleton Heights on Friday night and leading a crew of reporters covering Madison County schools. Rob, welcome back to the football season.
Well, first of all, great to be back on with you. Jed Richmond's teams always play hard. They always play well. They battle in the trenches. They play a gritty brand of football, and I think their hopes are pretty high this year that they're going to have a good season. And Lebanon's a good early test for what they're going to face down the road. That conference is brutal with New Pal and Mount Vernon and Greenfield and so many really good teams. I think Yorktown and Newcastle both are going to be pretty solid this year too. Shelbyville. So
Delta has a new coach.
Yeah, Delta. I mean, it's just a good early test for Pendleton Heights to play a team like Lebanon right out of the gate, and we'll see what happens.
A lot to replace for the Arabians.
Yes, you lose a guy like Keaton Jones, who's going to be running at Butler next year or this fall, actually.
Right.
And then Colton Frank, their quarterback, has moved on. So we're going to see not even 100% sure who all I'm going to see. But I do know that they still have Luke Graham, who's a big time offensive lineman for them. He's a road grader type that can open some holes for the running game, protect that quarterback. And a guy I really like is Rylan Kiesling. He's a linebacker / tight end. He's gotten a lot of looks, a lot of D3 type, D2 level schools, NAIA. Got an offer actually from Mount Union, which is a big time offer. They won a number of national championships.
He was a Central Indiana Sports Report Defensive Player of the Week one year last year, so we know he can get the job done.
One of the cover boys for our Football Frenzy football preview issue that we just had at the Herald-Bulletin the 20th Wednesday.
Everybody, make sure you go pick that up, Rob.
I appreciate it. I got to give a shout out to the writers who helped with those stories. I was kind of occupied with a lot of the other preview stuff, and a lot of our guys did those stories. And,
yeah, great crew.
Zach Carter and Eli Poe, Phil Beebe, Rich Torres, and our summer intern Parker Rogers, who's going to be actually, and this is exciting news, is going to be getting us some IU football coverage this fall for our CNHI papers. Yes, we're real excited about that. Yeah, it's a great looking issue. My buddy Caleb Amick did some great photos of not just Ryland, but also Devin Craig, the great lapel quarterback. And so we got previews of all our area high school teams, plus Ball State, IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, Anderson University. And one of the football teams that is included in there is the new Elwood flag football team with girls flag football, which we're really excited about. Girls team play. I visited with them last week and talked to the coach, a couple of the kids. They're and watched the practice. They're a fun group of kids. If you just going out to a practice, it was pretty fun. They're having a good time. I think it's a great addition. Kudos to Ryan Van Skalk and taking advantage of a Colts initiative to put this thing together. It's going to be fun.
A lot of interesting games on Friday for you, Rob. I know you have a couple others outside of Madison County, but the top three in Madison County have to be Alexandria, Madison Grant, and
for sure. Those are actually the three teams of our 8 area teams that got some votes in the preseason polls. So, yeah, LaPel's number 7. It's defending sectional champions.
Madison Grant and Alexandria probably have easy wins on Friday. Big one for LaPel.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Miller the other day. I think he thinks that defensively, Hamilton Heights is going to be a challenge. Which that LaPel offense always so fun to watch. They want to get tested early and work out whatever kinks they've got. They got Devin Craig, who's all-state caliber quarterback. I believe with the Indy Star preseason super team, he's the only small school athlete picked. So That's impressive. He's got targets like Jackson Kripe and running back Jack Miller, Coach Miller's son, who's really become. I mean, he's been starting the first 2 years. Now he's a junior and has really grown in that position. They're going to miss guys like Riley Hudson, Bryce Burris, that were such good receivers for him. But that LaPel it's a program now. They just reloads every year. They just keep stockpiling. It's a football culture out there now. Alexandria, really excited about that 2A program as well. Pete Gass does a great job. His son Brady, phenomenal quarterback. What a great career he's had. Been overshadowed quite a bit by what Craig has done at LaPel, but Brady Gass has carved out a phenomenal career with the Tigers, and he's got some targets back. Bryson Eckler's an exciting player. Mason Fuller, he's a really good athlete, so he's got some targets to throw. So I think Alexandria's going to have a really good year. They could be a threat to win that section, and that's something I believe Alexandria's never done. So that would be huge for that program. Yeah, and Madison Grant ranked 8th in 1A. Kind of similar to LaPel now. They're on a kind of a run where every year guys graduate. Tanner Brooks moves on, but there's guys last year that picked up that, like Andy Stanley had a huge year. Now he graduates. It's Rosin White's turn to carry the ball. And O.J. Blackwell, they got a full house backfield, and they've got a full house to run it.
They do. Behind some big guys, too.
And behind some big guys. They're almost the anti-LaPel, where LaPel will air it out, throw the ball down the field. Madison Grant's going to pound it right down your throat. I would watch for Madison Grant to have a great year.
Who is going to be where for you on Friday night, and how can people read the coverage?
And we will have Eli Poe will actually be at the aforementioned Alexandria Tigers home opener. They will be playing Westdell. And Phil Beebe will have coverage from Shenandoah. The Raiders will be hosting Bluffton.
Tough opener for the Raiders.
Then I'll be at in Pendleton for the Arabians and Lebanon game, and we'll have some short versions of those stories and roundups from all the other games as well in the Saturday edition of the Herald-Bulletin, and we'll have full game coverage from those 3 sites at our website, heraldbulletin.com.
And that, of course, includes the Frankton Eagles and Marty Wells' debut, and the Elwood Panthers hopefully going for their second straight win over Southern Wells.
Yep, and the Shane Arnold era dawns at Anderson.
That is a perfect segue, Rob. Coming up next is Coach Arnold talking about his Anderson Indians. Thanks so much, Rob.
Absolutely, anytime.
Please stay tuned for Anderson head coach Shane Arnold, co-hosted by Michelle Garman.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Ooh, I almost said Tri-Central. Anderson head coach Shane Arnold has a new team this year and moving up from Class A to Class 5A.
Yes.
Ooh, that is quite a leap for a head football coach.
Yes, it is.
Well, how's the transition been?
It's been good. Kids are working hard. The community has accepted me with open arms. In the school every day, the administration has been over the moon accepting. It's just been an easy transition, much easier than I thought it would be. Way different sectional. Got Cathedral and New Pal in my sectional, so
that's way different.
Definitely different than the 1A, and got 70 plus kids out. So we're numbers are up. Kids are working hard, good attitudes. So we're hitting the ground running, but it's going to be a process.
The good news for your team, I think, is that the schedule you play during the regular season is there are a lot of other programs in your kind of situation. So you got to feel if you can get the kids out, you can get the kids coached. That Anderson has a pretty good path to being a pretty good program.
Yes, you don't want to look past anyone, especially in 5A.
Yeah.
But with our numbers and our athleticism, I really think the Anderson program is a sleeping giant.
Been
It's
saying
just
that for
going to
years.
it's going to take some patience and some time. It's not going to happen overnight. And I have to say the community has come out amazing. Have people dropping off supplies for the kids and snacks and waters, and people hitting the streets trying to raise funds so we can, get new uniforms and equipment and all that. And my athletic director and assistant athletic director have been amazing on getting us, a new sled, a new lineman chute, and end zone camera and headsets. So in our conference with Kokomo and Muncie and Richmond and all them, it's a good conference.
Yeah,
But
the other part of what I said is that you still got a long way to go in the North Central Conference with teams like Jeff and Kokomo and Marion. You still got a
oh yeah,
long way to go in your sectional, of course, with teams like Cathedral and New Pal. But if you can have some success early, you could kind of see the possibility of taking the steps up, at least slowly, if not quickly.
yes, yeah. Our kids need success right now, just to gain confidence. I didn't know till the other day. I was doing an interview with a paper, and they had told me that Anderson is on like a 16-game losing streak. Our focus right now is the weight room, getting the weight room turned around, being more physical and fundamental, and changing the culture. And our goal is to win a game. After we win a game, let's work on two. But our focus right now is to take care of us, for us to get better, learn the new system on offense, learn the new system on defense, and take it from there.
Shane, I talked to Adrian Heim back at the boys golf sectional in June, and I know he was real impressed, and he said they were all excited over there for you and the way it appeared that the direction of the program was headed. He said you guys had. He thought the kids you had brought fresh enthusiasm.
Yes, Adrian's been Johnny on the spot. Him and Steve have been amazing getting over there, and two Elwood guys.
That's
So taking over there and doing things. But the kids have come out with good attitudes and wanting to learn and working hard. When I first got there, Adrian and I talked, and he kept telling me, it's going to be rough to start, but it'll get there. It'll get there. And when we first got there, we had 5 kids in the weight room, and I thought, oh my God. And then 2 weeks later, we had 20. And then 2 months later, we had 50. So it's been a good process, but I owe a lot of that credit to the kids. Those kids have beat the streets and the hallways and said, hey, come out. It's a new direction and it's a new day. And the kids have taken to it and ran with it.
Coach, Yorktown Friday, what do you want to see from your team?
Other than like the way the community has embraced you, what has been the most pleasant, maybe surprise to you moving up to 5A and to a school like Anderson with the number of athletes that they have?
How well the kids have taken to not only me, but the staff and all the changes. Anytime you go into a new program, especially a move like we've done, you always think you're going to face, criticism and skeptics. Knock on wood, we have not. There has been no haters. They have lined up to welcome us, jumping through hoops to help us, and the kids have absolutely buckled down and done everything we've asked and more. And not only are they working hard when they don't get something, when they mess up, at practice. They want to stay late and work on it. I have been so impressed with the kids and their attitudes and how well they've taken to us. It's just been phenomenal.
Coach, that game Friday was originally supposed to be at Yorktown, I'm guessing. Is that why you have 3 straight home games to start the season?
Yes, Yorktown got a new field,
Right.
and it's not done yet.
And that's
And
why they play
so,
their first 4 games on the road.
yes, and they moved it to our place. I don't know all the behind scenes. I know we're wearing home jerseys, and I believe it's officially our home game. But outside of that, yeah, their turf's not done, so they're coming over to play at our place. But I'm sure they're like a lot of teams that will overlook us and think, it's not really a road game. So we're hoping to change that perception. We're adjusting on the fly. I'll tell you that it's a huge adjustment. And as we're there, you got to practice different. You have to organize different. We have to organize the weight room different. You can't get all of those kids in there. So you have kids out doing speed and agility while you have another half in lifting, and then you flip them.
You have
And
more names to you have to remember.
That's right.
and that is the big thing right now. I was telling the kids tonight that there's a lot of "Hey you," because I haven't got all the names yet, which is funny. The
Understandable.
kids get a kick out of it. But when you go from coaching, 25, 30 kids to we have 70 plus, it's a good problem to have. And the successful years at Tri Central, we had athletes and we could throw the ball and we could run the ball. I mean, we have 10 kids going out for running back. I have 6 kids trying out for quarterback. I have a tight end that's 6'6". Our starting quarterback Friday night, 6'4". I mean, we have the 4x100 record-setting team at Anderson is my receiving core. So
Nice.
we have talent. They have athletes. We just got to put some football smarts in them and some physicality, and we'll be okay.
Obviously, you haven't spent a lot of time scouting Yorktown over the last few years, a team that you have not run across very much, but I'm sure you know a lot about Coach Wilhelm and the fact that they're averaging about 8 wins a season the last 3 years. So, big challenge.
Oh, yeah, he is an amazing coach, and I've talked to him a lot. When I was at TC, seen him at a lot of the coaching conventions and meetings and stuff like that. He has always been very respectful and helpful to me. Went out of his way when I was at TC to help me with stuff and like that. I have a ton of respect for him and the job he does. They run a fine-tuned machine. I compare them a lot to Sheridan with how they do things. They just throw it more than Sheridan did. They're physical. They're going to blitz you a lot. They like to get up in you and make you make mistakes, and then they make you pay. When you load the box, they throw the ball really well, and when you back out, they run it down your throat. So amazing coach and staff and program, and we definitely got our work cut out for us.
And beware the team that last year everybody said, yeah, but they're young. Just wait, because that might be Yorktown.
Yes, it definitely is. When I watched them against Frankton from the scrimmage, they definitely are experienced. They know what they're doing. They do a lot of stunts, and they're never out of position. It's very impressive to watch.
Thank you so much, Coach. Always good to talk to you. I hope we do it a lot more this year. I hope we get to talk after some Anderson Indian victories.
Yes, sir. I sure hope that's the case. I truly appreciate being back on the show, and I miss talking to you guys.
But it's still great to be an Elwood Panther, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much to Coach Arnold and also Kyle Neddenriep, Cade Hampton, Richie Hall, Rob Hunt, and Scott Hunt for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a high school football fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana high school sports every single day.
The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.